All right, Power Ranger fans. Now, this is just a fun video about, well, the Power Rangers. And, I just turned 27. August 29th is my birthday, which is the day before, from now on, we can officially say August 28th is National Power Ranger Day. And that's pretty damn awesome if you think about it. I mean, for me, being born in the 90s, 91, growing up with the Power Rangers, and I think, I'm 2 years older than the franchise, but just to know that we have an official day for one of my favorite franchises growing up is pretty cool. And this video today, I did a video review of the 25th anniversary episode for Super Ninja Steel. And I began to think, I was talking with some of my friends and looking at other YouTubers doing their thing about the review. And first of all, I love Jason David Frank. Tommy Oliver, Green with Evil, one of my favorite miniseries out of the entire franchise of Power Rangers. Like, even to this day, if I so happen to pop in a DVD or I'm on Netflix and I watch part 1 of Green with Evil, which is my favorite part, by the way, I have to just sit down and watch all 5. Now, this video is just asking the question, do you think Tommy Oliver is overrated? Now, this is probably a very controversial topic of discussion amongst the Power Ranger community, because in a lot of ways I can definitely see why people would think that Tommy Oliver is overrated. Like, he's kind of like the Pikachu. You know how Pikachu are a Pokemon is like Pikachu and Charizard. They're kind of like the main ones. You see them everywhere. Kind of like the Goku of, Dragon Ball. He's everywhere. Whenever you hear Dragon Ball, people instantly think Goku. When it comes to Power Rangers, it's Tommy Oliver all day, every season, at least when there's team up or special episodes. Sorry, my computer chair's squeaking. Gosh, I need to get a new one. You know what? That's my new investment. Hopefully Black Friday, Staples has sales on computer chairs, so I can give me a new one. But really, I actually rewatched the 25th anniversary episode. I felt like my episode review was just as long as the episode, but hopefully this video isn't nowhere near as long, hopefully 10 minutes or so. But I was looking at the video, and once again, like I said in that video, I'm 27 now. I look at these shows differently than when I was a kid, and I really look at it from a marketing standpoint. And when you think Power Rangers, Tommy Oliver sells, the Green Ranger sells, the Falcon Zord sells, the Dragon Dagger sells, the Dragon Zord sells. And I mean, I can't blame them for using Tommy at the forefront. And to me, you know what I love about Jason David Frank? Like, I never had the privilege of meeting him personally or going to a Power Morphicon or a Comic-Con and meeting him and or other members of the Power Ranger franchise, whether it be other Rangers, supporting cast like Bulk and Skull, or some of the people behind the scenes who wrote episodes or seasons and things of that nature. But to me, Jason David Frank, I mean, I feel like he is the biggest kid, because every time I go on social media, there's always a bunch of new videos and photos and stuff like that. And it seems like a big kid who is having the time of his life. And I can't help but love him even more for that, being a true Ranger on and off camera. I mean, that's great stuff if you ask me. But in terms of not Jason David Frank, but Tommy Oliver, just Tommy the Ranger, not Jason David Frank the person, who I do believe is a Ranger off screen too. You can say what you want, but I just feel like when it comes down to Power Rangers, there are just so many other great legendary Rangers out there. It doesn't have to be Tommy all the time. I mean, like, I love Wes from Time Force, one of my favorite. Like, people are like, oh, Tommy's the best 6th Ranger or special Ranger, basically a Ranger who isn't part of the primary team, but he's like a Ranger that comes on board. The reason I say extra instead of 6 is because sometimes a season will have 5 Rangers. Like, start off with 3, they might add 2, or it might be 5 Rangers, then they add 2 or 3 more. But Tommy was officially the first 6th Ranger, and I mean, the fact that he burst into the Megazord, knocked the Rangers out, kicked their asses, got rid of Zordon, gave Alpha a virus. I mean, in one episode, man, one episode. But I mean, there are other great Rangers out there. Quantum Ranger is probably my favorite. Eric from Time Force, probably my favorite Ranger of all time. I mean, definitely underrated if you ask me. And I do feel like the Q-Rex would beat the Dragon Zord. Yes, I said it. But in any case, you also have Andros from In Space. There are just so many lists. I'm literally going through the seasons in my head now. Sheesh. I mean, I love Sky from SPD, Casey from Jungle Fury. I'm trying not to just pick Red Rangers too. I'm trying to be more diverse than that. Kendrick from Lost Galaxy. Carter from Lightspeed. He's a Red Ranger too. Shoot. Yeah, and the list goes on. There's so many great Rangers out there. But I just feel like, when it comes to merchandising and whatnot, Tommy is definitely the face. And of course, Jason, the original OG Red Ranger. And I really wish he was in these kind of events as well. But I can understand, not everyone is still in the acting game. Some people are either working, different careers now. Some people are acting, explaining why they aren't in a bunch of these anniversary seasons and whatnot, due to the fact that, well, they're obligated with other responsibilities, so they can't come all the time. But I would love for another Jason and Tommy event going on, in an episode or something like that, because I heard some stories behind the scene, like those two didn't get along or something along those lines. Like, I don't know the full story, so I'm not going to sit up here and tell rumors I don't even know are confirmed. But it kind of does suck if that is the case. But I can understand, there's friction in all kinds of franchises between people on the same team, if you will, whether it be like New Edition, they're kind of not broken up at this time because of infighting and whatnot. Then you look at Power Rangers, where it would be really cool though if Jason and Tommy, or excuse me, Austin St. John and Jason David Frank really unified together. And those two together, man, shoot, come on now. Thinking of merchandising on that. But I do believe there were some talks, but of Billy, the actor that portrays Billy. I feel dumb for not, I grew up watching Power Rangers, and I look at the credits because of the opening song, but I cannot remember. Amy Jo Johnson, excuse me, I feel bad because this was the anniversary of her passing on September 3rd, but Tang, Walter Jones, Jason David Frank, Austin St. John. Why can I not remember Billy's actor's name? This is stupid. I feel dumb. But David Yost. And I believe he said he was writing, or would be more than willing to do like a reunion episode or something, or like a reunion event for the original Rangers. I would love that. Look, even if it isn't like a Power Rangers episode, but just to have like a hour-long like special where it's just the original cast members in like a room or something, talking with each other about how it was back in the day when they were Rangers. I would be cool with that. I would be cool. I mean, once again, like if an episode is made, that's all good, but just to have the cast together, that would be amazing. But to me personally, Tommy, I can definitely see why people would say that Tommy is overrated, but from a business standpoint perspective, it makes sense because Tommy's merchandise sells. I mean, like, for example, when it comes down to before Hasbro bought Power Rangers, think about the legendary figures and whatnot. You had the Dragon Zord, the White Tiger Zord, Samba Saber, Dragon Dagger, which I have all those things. Then you have the Gold Ranger staff from Zeo, which I still need to buy. I'm saving up my money for that. And most of those were Tommy and Jason exclusive weapons. I believe the Mighty Morphin Power Sword, not Zord, which is like $170, but I ain't got that much. You didn't see like the Power Axe or the Power Lance or the Power Bow. You saw the Power Sword and the Dragon Dagger, White Saba Zord. So when it comes to Power Rangers, really the red and sometimes the 6 additional Ranger are the ones that sell the most. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but whenever I go in stores or if I'm on eBay or Amazon and I look at the prices of different items, typically speaking, the Red Ranger action figures and the 6/extra Ranger figures are worth the most. And then of course anything that has Tommy Oliver attached to it is automatically going to be making you some bank, especially Green Ranger items. I feel like the Green Ranger is probably one of the most popular Rangers of all time. When I say Green Ranger, I mean like Green Mighty Morphin. It's kind of funny because it's just like, when you're growing up, you love Batman, but when you get older, you relate to the Joker more. Same thing with like, oh, I love SpongeBob. Squidward is a grump, but when you get older, you realize you are Squidward. Same thing with Power Rangers. Like when you're a kid, you love the White Ranger, but when you get older, you realize the Green Ranger was way more badass. In my opinion, he was. But with that being said, though, I think Tommy's overrated. I could see why people would say that, but from a business standpoint, I can understand why he's at the forefront of Ranger fandom, if you will. I guess like I really was a bit harsh when I looked at the anniversary episode for the first time, because it was just like, okay, look, I love Tommy, but I love these other Rangers too. Like, I wish we got more Trent scenes, TJ, even though Rocky, I love Jason more. It would have been cool to see Rocky and Kat more as well. But I can understand why it was Tommy centric, but at the same time, I did feel bad because the other Rangers kind of felt, you know, pushed to the background, where Tommy got the Master Morpher. We saw 4 of his different Ranger powers. He was the one that saved the day with the Falcon Zord and whatnot. Obviously, you know, nostalgia, but at the same time, I bet money people are trying to go online to find the Falcon Zord. Luckily, I got mine. It's still in the box. But, you know, I can definitely see both sides of the argument. So, is Tommy Oliver overrated? I mean, once again, I can see why people would think that. In a way, I do think that, because there are other Rangers who can be in the forefront as well. But in terms of nostalgia factor, Jason and Tommy, I would say, are definitely the top 2. But there are other great Rangers out there who deserve a bit more of the limelight as well. Just my opinion. But Jason David Frank, love this guy. I really need to sit down and catch up on. I think he has the series, My Morphin Life, or Morphin Life. Great stuff. I saw the first few episodes, and I just love like the human side of the Rangers, if you will, just seeing them behind the scenes, interacting with fans. Good stuff. Hope to meet him one day. That'll be a great opportunity, but for now, I'll definitely just continue to support the franchise. I got an 8-year-old nephew. He loves the Power Rangers, so it's always a good thing to just sit back and watch the show with him, though I am critical, because sometimes like, man, this season is whack. You should have watched the seasons I watched growing up, which he has, because he has them all on DVD. But with that being said, what do you think? Is Tommy Oliver overrated? Yes, no, maybe so. Who's your favorite Power Ranger and why? And I'll talk to you all soon.